you would think maybe it's getting ready to go up. But what we see is that it's at its highest. See, it's at the highs. It can only, it's, there's that ceiling I talked about. Well, I talked about it. If you went back into my other previous lessons, you would have heard me talk about support and resistance in the introduction, ceiling and floor, up or down. The floor is that the resistance, the ceiling is the support. It supports the foundation of the house. The resistance is the floor. It's what we stand on. It keeps us stabilized, right? So high and low. So we know that this is at the high. It can't do nothing. It can't go too far. I mean, it's going to go through the roof. Going through the roof is what the market is overbought. When it's up like that, it's overbought. When it's down, it's oversold, meaning that it looks beautiful, like it's getting ready to shoot up. But I know that it's so high, you can only go so high before it turns down. Unless, there is things where it breaks a new record. There is certain situations and information. But what we talked about is slinky. It's slinky, the fundable, visible toy. When we talked about the spring, it's got to pull back out. It's got to come back out. No matter what they talk about and how well the market is doing, it still got to, market can drop even. It still got to correct itself. Come back to the balance. Okay. So, yeah, that's something I just thought I mentioned before we get to what is called the dragonfly. So let's get to the dragonfly and see if we can find it. Gravestone, let's see if it's over here. Might be after that. Long-legged. Okay, it may be here. Oh, here we go. Dragonfly. Look at that. You know how dragonfly is, when you see in China they have those little dragonflies and just be, or a little dragonfly flying, a little tail right there. That's exactly what it looks like. In this case, the dragonfly shows that the sellers was able to pull the price up this time. This time, remember, we was at the gravestone where the buyers were pulling it down. But we do see that the sellers or the buyers, no, the sellers, the bearish, did pull it all the way down, and that was a red candle this time. Earlier, we talked about it being what, green, because it was up here. Now it's down here. So this was a beautiful red candle. Like, whoa, the market is. But then all of a sudden, look at the bullish, pulling it up. See that? And it never actually went over that. So it went to the ceiling, I call it. There's the support, the ceiling. It was a downward momentum, but it didn't sustain itself. The other one was an upward momentum, but it didn't sustain itself, which is a clear sign of uncertainty by the traders. So there's momentum to go up. That's what that means. Okay, so, and let's jump back into our charts and see if we can find some of those dragonflies. And dragonflies usually occur, now they can occur at the bottom as well, but they're not called dragonfly, they're called hammers, right? So we have haramis, hammers, those are some of the names. Um, so, if we're looking down here, right, when they're above, I believe they're called, um, there's another name for them, rising star, haramis. Also, and just to let you know, like, let's see if we can find some. When we see them at the top, they're called hammers. When we see them at the bottom, they're called inverted hammers. But a dragonfly itself, a hammer is when, let's go back here. A hammer has somewhat of a body. I wish I could just draw a little square right there. When you start to see a little body, that could be considered what is called a morning star or a hammer. It's a different one, but dragonfly is because it's completely closed right there. But there still can be some form of body, and I don't want to say necessarily this is could be considered a long-legged. It also could be considered morning star because I remember I told you it has the body and a little bit of the top wick from the bullish or bearish pulling it down. In particular, we're just trying to find dragonflies. Let's see if we can find something. Oh, this, needless to say, this could be a possible. Remember, I told you. Let me just blow it up right quick. And, a lot of dragonflies. You can see them. Here is where the market pulled it up, right? But the bearish did not. It has a stem, so that's going to be considered a long-legged, even though this other leg is not, but it can be considered a long-legged. So we can't count that as a dragonfly. But let's see if, you know what, how about I had some charts here, and I'm thinking that maybe we can find it. Yeah, let's look at this right quick. So what we got right there, look at that thing of beauty. There was a reversal, there was a high pull up, there was nothing coming down, so there's your dragonfly, right? And you can see where the market sort of shot up to, it was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a dragonfly, but again, with your your other indicators, your other tools would have told you that this is, and again, where is it at? Is it at the ceiling or is it at the floor? Resistance, support, resistance. It's at the resistance. I mean, it's almost at the lowest that it can go right in here. So I wouldn't have gotten confused with it going up because even if it went down a little bit lower, it's still at the lowest. And then what happened? And we can tell, well, we can't tell on this, but have we open up, this is the S&P. Well, maybe we can't. How about this? Let's just do it like this. This happens in October. See that date right there? So let's go back to October. But it may not, was it the beginning of October? That's something good to know. Let's see. Let's do a year to date. Boom. This pushes it up to October. Is this where that was located? Or was it at the October way back when? Uh-huh. So let's go back to another time in October of 2020. Is it this where this was located at? See if we can find it. It's important that we find it, you know. Oh, maybe it was in 2019 or something. Okay. Let's see if we can find it. I do see something right here. I think this was, but that one looked a little bit more. Anyway, I can't find it right now. So what I'm going to do is stick with looking right. Well, though, that was 2021. So we know that this happened. We're looking at the, okay, so let's go back here. Oh, that's why we can't find it. Look where we're at. This is important. Sometimes I get a little confused on what market I'm in. Right now I'm in a Euro US dollar. So that's the reason why. So what we need to go is in the S&P. We know it was 2021. So we'll continue to come over here. And this was the area where we need to be. Now, the other question is, and was this in the hour that this was spotted? Something that you have to consider. Okay, so here's somewhat of a dragonfly as well. Look at that one. It's also a thing of beauty. Um, let's get out of this. Let's jump over here to come out of the auto so we can bring this chart down. Again, come on, unlock yourself. Okay, see right here? Look at that. Thing of beauty. It's a possible dragonfly, even though it has a little stem. Remember what we said. We're not going to get caught up on trying to look at this dragonfly exactly how it's shown right here. We're not going to get caught up in that. Don't do that. It could have a little stem. It could. Again, someone, I'm not saying who, could be manipulating you because you have this vision and you're so programmed that you can't think outside the box. So someone has you thinking, if we put a little stem up there, oh, that's not a dragon ball, let's bypass it. And guess what? Then you can't understand why the market went down because you keep looking at, and this is why I do not deal with algorithms. They have a software. Look, I mean, let's go back to this chart, right? I can go here, and I can say built-ins, right? And I can go to candles. Let's see where, show you example. Candle patterns, I'm sorry. I can go right here to candle patterns, right? And let's say if I put in, what we were on dragonflies. See if it show it. It should have a, well, it says doji star, doji bullish, doji bearish, and dragonfly bullish, right? Let me click on that right quick, right? Now, let's go back to the chart. Let's see if it captures some of those. Do an auto right quick. Bring the market back up. And let's just see if it caught anything. Usually if it is, it would have had, let me see. Did I put it in favorites? No, I didn't. Okay, let me just kind of click back over here. Let's just take example. Let's just do a doji. I'll just click on a doji right quick. Right now, this market is telling you that these are dojis, right? Let's go back to auto. It's on auto. Let's just go back into the day. I want to kind of fatten up this. Okay. Now see here, and you see I like it because it has a highlight. It tells you that's a doji, right? See right here, it tells you that's a doji, right? Okay, they're dojis. I get it. You know, I give them that. Huh? I give them that. Those are dojis. See how easy they point them out for you? But they're corrected dojis, classical dojis. Huh? Could this been a doji? Hmm? Could this been a doji? Could that have been a doji? Huh? Could this have been a doji? So don't, that's what I'm trying to tell you, not to get how important the human trained eye is more beneficial than the computer system. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Let's just get rid of those quickly. We don't need them. We're not interested in them. We're technical. We're old school. You know, don't get too lazy to where you can't. You know, when you're in here looking at this during the hour, during the 15 minutes, during the day, you know, you want to charts. They're designed for you. It's just something about yours. That's what, it's just like a writer who writes so long and then eventually he has to have his own style of grammar. You have your own way. Eventually your eyes are going to have that train eye where you're going to be able to spot them because you're going to say, hey, how can I let this computer tell me that that's a doji when, I see them all the time and they're starting to look like this and they do what they do. And then you get tired. You'd be like, I don't even want to see that no more. Follow your analogy in the market. In your analogy, the market itself is going to tell you what direction it's going in. Um, one more before we close out on dojis, on candles, um, is let's see if we can go here. We just talked about the gravestone, dragonfly, uh, four price dojis, right? Well, you know, the four price doji just shows the what is called the morning star. We talked about this earlier when we first opened up spinning tops.